In the last video, we talked about what idioms are and why phrases like under the weather or foot the bill don't mean what they say. Today, we're going to go one step deeper. How idioms spread across an entire country long before the internet, social media, or even television. And once you see the patterns, you'll start hearing idioms very differently. Hi, my name is Dina, and this is Correctish English, where we find out why English is messy, why it bothers some people, and why it all actually makes sense. So before we talk about how idioms spread, we need to talk about structure because not all idioms work the same way. First are pure idioms, the ones that make zero sense, literally, like spill the beans or raining cats and dogs. If you didn't grow up with English, there is absolutely no way to guess what these even mean. These survive only because a whole community agrees on the meaning. These spread best through repetition and shared culture, not logic. Okay. The second type of idiom is a binomial idiom. Two words joined together that act as a single idea. Do's and don'ts, heart to heart, by and large. These are catchy, rhythmic, easy to remember, which makes them perfect for speech, story, and headlines. They spread because they sound right. Okay? Partial idioms, where you only say part of the phrase and everyone fills in the rest. For instance, when in Rome, ... You don't need to finish it. The meaning is culturally assumed. In case you don't know the rest, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. This only works when the phrase is deeply embedded in a shared culture. And finally, prepositional idioms. A verb plus a preposition, but with a meaning you can't take literally, like get over it, break down, carry on. These are especially hard for ESL learners because the words are common, but the meaning shifts. This is one of the reasons why English feels inconsistent. So here's the real question. How did these phrases move from small communities to an entire nation without mass communication? So the first way was westward expansion and migration. As people moved west from the East Coast, they didn't just carry tools and supplies, they carried languages. Dialects blended, regional phrases mixed, and new expressions formed. The West became a linguistic melting pot, and out of that came a more nationalized English. So number two, oral tradition and work culture. Many idioms didn't start as clever phrases. They started as work language. Farming, sailing, trade, military life. These phrases were practical at first, then metaphorical, then idiomatic. People repeated what worked and what painted a vivid picture. The third way, newspapers, radio, movies, and TV. Before social media, newspapers were the internet. Headlines popularized slang, catchy phrases spread nationally, and later radio and movies standardized speech. By the mid-20th century, television turned regional phrases into a shared language. Fourth way was military service. When people from every region are suddenly living, training, and surviving together, language spreads fast. So you have a shared jargon. You have inside jokes, which if you've been married a long time, you probably have a few inside jokes, okay? And there's slang that followed the soldiers home. Phrases like the whole 9 yards gained traction this way. Okay? Immigration and urban density. Cities like New York and Boston became linguistic crossroads. Immigrant phrases adapted, words softened, shortened, or anglicized, meaning shifted, but survived. This is how English keeps absorbing without ever slowing down. Okay. So there's a lot of deeper roots to this as well. This part matters, and I'm only planting the seed today. But long before idioms spread across America, they spread into it. So we're talking about England now. So from East Anglia in the UK, to New England. So the Puritan migration from 1629 to 1641. That was one migration, and they settled in New England in one specific area. From the south of England to Virginia. So you've got Cavaliers and indentured servants, and that migration was from 1642 to 1675. Then you've got the North Midlands migration to Delaware Valley, which would be the Quaker migration, 1675 to 1725. And then from the borderlands to the backcountry, so the Scots and the Scots-Irish migration from 1717 to 1775. These groups didn't just bring beliefs and customs, they brought speech patterns, metaphors, and ways of meaning. And later, when these cultures collided, moved, and mixed, the idioms traveled with them. We'll unpack this in a future video. So idioms didn't spread randomly. They spread through movement, repetition, shared experiences, and storytelling. In the next video, we'll look at generational idioms, why your grandparents sound different from you, and why both sound strange to Gen Z. If you enjoy language, history, idioms, and why English is the way it is, subscribe. You're in the right place. See you next time.